Oh, yeah, we're recording. Let me see. Let me click. I got it. All right. You are
Oh,
now tuned into another 16 Shots podcast. Young James Boogie, AR Dub. What's going down?
pow.
I just assume you don't want to do gunshots no more. That's why I didn't even wait for them anymore.
Pow, bang. Man, my beard looking good, though, man.
Man, look, don't be trying to critique your face hair.
I did some trimming today, man. I think I did a good job, man.
You did, bro. You did, bro. What you got on the docket?
Man, I got 2, 3 things, and I'm saying, and some freestyling. Been having this ongoing conversation, okay? I know you're familiar with Zach Lacey, or Zach Stacy, sorry. The former running back for the first off,
Yep, I am.
first off, there's so many layers to anytime we talk about anything, there are layers to it because people are so uninformed about situations and peoples and just so this, there are very important words in our language nowadays, and some words are so important, but we don't really give them the space and the importance they need.
Okay.
One of those words is buzzword, right? Buzzword. This man got a whole drink out, man.
Oh, that's the sake, bro.
This man having a whole meal during
Sake.
You know, you might be an alcoholic, man.
Why you say that?
Because you might be alcoholic. That's why I said that.
Because I drank sake?
Because you drink a lot, not because you drink sake.
What you mean I drink a lot?
You drink a lot.
What you call a lot?
Every time I see you, you drinking, man.
Oh, every time you see me, we're doing a podcast called 16 Shots. And the premise of the premise, literally in the description of the podcast, is drunken debates between Young James Boogie and AR Dub.
So we have to be drunken to have the debates.
I don't really be drunk though.
What?
I be tipsy something. You be drunk.
No. You've been anyway.
No, time out. Let's unpack this. When was the last time I was drunk?
When was the last show?
Oh, that's what you're doing. I wasn't drunk last show.
No. I'm trying to think. The show before last.
The 5-hour show, I definitely wasn't drunk.
How we talk for 5 hours and we drinking 5 hours and you're not drunk?
I wasn't drinking 5 hours. The 5-hour podcast night, honestly, I probably had 2 beers. And then the rest was soda. See, because you see me with a cup, you think I'd be having drink in it. But I'll pace myself, especially during the weekday. I'll sip like some soda. So, you know.
The first sign of addiction.
I have not been the one on the pod slurring the words because I was drunk.
I just asked you what's the first sign
That
of
would be
addiction?
Jameson Boogie.
What's the first sign of addiction?
I don't know because I haven't had to go to any AA meetings. I would assume denial though.
Okay, here you go. Okay, so as I was saying, you have buzzwords. I'm gonna turn myself. I can't hear myself. Let me turn myself a little bit so I can hear. Yeah, there we go. All right, denial. But buzzwords, right?
All
So
right.
you have certain words that you can say, and it elicits just people think some kind of way. So as soon as I say domestic violence, people think what? A man doing something to a woman, right?
As soon as you say domestic violence,
Yeah.
I would assume most times it's a man. So because I've seen, you're right. I'll roll with you. It's a man being violent to a woman.
Yeah. And we live in a world, that's bothering me. We live in a society where people make judgments literally based on hearsay. So I see something happen
That is correct.
and I say, oh, he's a woman beater. He's an abuser.
If I see a report come out and I see a video where you threw your baby mama into the TV and the TV fell on her in front of the kid, first thing that's going to come to my mind is you probably are a woman beater.
And I think that's a problem. I think it's a huge problem. I think that's
okay, when I saw the video, the first thing that came to my mind was that's fucked up. And then the second thing that came to my mind was, what the fuck she do to that nigga to make him that mad?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I want to know, what did she do, or what did he think she did, or what was the catalyst to make that happen?
Now, I'm not saying that there's any justification for the act. But that's when my mom went like, what the fuck she do to make a nigga that mad? But he gonna beat you in front of the kid and then attempt to throw you through the TV.
I'm right there with you.
There's no justification for it, but I at least want to know what happened because I feel like that got to be some egregious shit. And then I heard some hearsay, which I didn't take as fact. I just took it as hearsay, and I was like, okay, well, I can see that. Because he claimed that she either stole $500K or upwards to $1 million from him. Now, I don't know how true it is, but I just said, well, I can see that.
You kind of see that. I don't think he made 100K in his career, but
Nah, he probably made, because he came out of college, kind of highly touted. So, I mean, the average nigga, if you can bounce around the league for 4 years, bro, you can make $5 million. Now
no,
yes you can, bro. You can make $5 million.
Baseline is what one. It just got to be 200,000.
No. I think like you can be a practice squad crash dummy and make like $250 a year, bro. And this is a nigga who was drafted and was on somebody's roster for a couple of years. That's what I'm saying, bro. He wasn't just this nigga wasn't just no trash ass. I barely made it to the league, and I'm a practice squad nigga. Nah, he was on somebody's roster for a couple of seasons. I know. I got a homie who was a certified special teamer for like 6 seasons, bro, and homie walked away with damn near 10 mil. And this is after everything. So you can make at least $5 mil, bro. Easy.
The
Easy.
minimum the minimum base salary just raised to 600,000 in 2020.
I just said you can be a practice squatter and make like $235 a year. I said a practice squatter. I didn't say a minimum 53-man roster guy. I said a practice squad guy I think can make like $235 a year just being a crash dummy for the season. Now you take a guy who got drafted and was on a 53-man roster for a couple of seasons. He's seen $5 mil in his span of his football playing days. Easy. I ain't saying after taxes, but I'm saying he's probably made $5 mil.
I'm saying not to get stuck here, but the base salary is 300,000. That's the minimum salary.
Sorry, you just told me 600.
No, that's 2020. It got raised.
That's neither here nor there, bro. That's neither here nor there.
It is. If the minimum salary
that has nothing to do with our conversation, bro. It's neither here nor there, bro.
Listen, if the minimum salary
how is that a part of our conversation?
Let me finish. I'm just putting the math numbers. If the minimum salary is 300,000, that means it would take you, if you didn't spend a dime, it would take you 3 years to make the $1 million.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a very important question? And then can we please move on from this very minute issue?
It's not minute because you said.
This is what I said. Yeah. I said, I read, and I don't even know how true it is, that she may have stole $500K to $1 million. And then I said he could have made $500 million in his career. He was drafted out of college. I don't know exactly what draft number, but I know he came out of college with high expectations. And he was more than just a practice squad guy. He was actually a 53-man roster guy. And I think he had a decent year or two in the league. So he could have stuck around the league for 5 years. I don't know how long he played. All I'm saying is it's not too far-fetched to say that the guy made $5 million in his career. Now, you can easily look it up and see how many years he played in the league. And you might even be able to see the salary that he got because it's all public information. I think that this part of the conversation is not that big of a deal to get stuck on. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying that it holds true to just asking to say, hey, if the issue might have been she stole X amount of dollars, which we're not saying, like you said, he could have made them any kind of way. He didn't have to make it in football. But I'm saying that I don't know if he made.
Look it up, Book. How many years did he play in the league? Since we're stuck here, you have your phone in your hand. How many years did he play in the league, Book?
Played 1, 2. Played 2 years.
Are you sure? He only played 2 seasons.
Yep. What
was his draft number? What was he drafted at?
He's a 5th round draft pick.
All right. And how much was his salary per those 2 years?
His salary was uh, he signed for. That's a lot of work to go see. But end of the day, he only played 2 years, 3 years in the league, and then he missed a
Is it
year.
2 years or is it 3 years?
It's two. What I'm saying is he played 2 years for the a year for the Rams, 2013, 2014. In 2015, he was with the Jets,
Okay.
and then after that, he was out. He played as a practice squad or off-season player only for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Memphis Express. But like I said, back to the main meat of it is that I was having
Now he could have gotten money elsewhere also. So we don't know
yeah,
what else he did.
yeah.
And look, I don't know how much money the man is worth. I don't know how much money he had in his pocket. I just went off of something I read. I don't even know how true it is.
And that's where I was speaking to for the most part. But
But that doesn't matter though. I mean, there are a lot of people who have used playing in the league as something that catapulted them into other situations that may have afforded them money. I just
I agree.
simply said if you played a couple of seasons, I don't even know how many seasons he played. I was simply saying, yeah, if nigga played 4 or 5 seasons, he could have made $5 million.
You,
He could have got some bullshit endorsements from here and there. You don't ever know. Some local
look,
shit. You don't know. We don't know.
it says that he in his year he made 2.3 million in the NFL.
See what I'm saying? That was what, 2 years, 3 years? So what if he did play 5 years?
He played two,
Go ahead, Book.
and he signed a 4-year contract for two, and didn't fulfill that out. He didn't he really well anyway. He didn't make all the
That's
money.
neither here nor there. Make your point, bro. We getting
But
hung up. We're getting hung up on shit that has nothing to do with the conversation.
well,
It has
kinda.
nothing to do with the conversation, bro. Nothing at all.
It had everything to do with the conversation.
How did it have everything to do with the conversation? Now I'm falling for the trap. How, Book?
Because if some of the conversation and hearsay and the buzzwords that are thrown out about him is that, oh, she stole this much money or he had this much money, he has a net worth of 2 million, and you're saying
Well,
she
hold
stole.
on. Does he have a net worth of 2 mil, or did he make that in the NFL?
He has a net worth of 2 mil. As he left the NFL, he came out of the NFL with a net worth of 1.2,
And what year was that?
17,
And what year is this?
21.
So okay. So he couldn't have made any more money between 17 and 21?
I'm telling you,
I'm saying in life, like off of his merit, like whatever it is that he does.
you hear what I'm saying? I'm saying he went from 1.2 to 2. From 17 to 21, he went from 1.2 to 2.
Who's reporting this? Are they accurate?
See,
I'm asking. And then even with that being said, if he has a net worth of 2, is it far fetched that she stole 500 from him? I'm asking. I don't know.
I don't know.
But is that far fetched though? Even if it is true, we're actually arguing a point that we don't even know it's true. But let's say if it is true that she did get him for 500, is that applicable? Could she have got him for 500?
If ifs and buts were cans of nuts.
No. Because when we're talking about your points, we were operating off of ifs and buts. So what I said was, I said, hey man, I read, and I don't even know how true this is. I made sure I said that she may have got him for 500 to $1 million. I don't know how true that is at all.
Yeah.
But if it's true, I could be upset about it.
Okay, and what I'm saying is that scratch this conversation. We're still on conversation, but not speaking directly on it. But if we're having conversations and then you start to going, well, if what is true, what's not true, like if you're going to question everything to the point to be like, there's a thing called a logical synopsis or a theory, right? And you can have a theory that comes out of nowhere that I just grab numbers from nowhere, or you can have like what I said. I was like, well, okay, he played these many years. He had signed a contract for this. This is what Then I went to go look to get some factual information, and I'm like, okay, I'm not looking at like TMZ.com. I'm looking at some reputable sites. I just told you. I could have told you, but I was telling you, like, yeah, his net worth in 2017 was 1.2. By 2021, he's 2 million. So that's agreeing with what you said, that his worth did go up. But if you're just going to say, well, is that true? Well, we can say that, but is anything true? What's true and what's false? Like
I'm at a loss. What's the point?
the point is, if you're going to question something just based on wondering because you like factual evidence is only
Boog, what are
factual.
we questioning though? That's what I'm at a loss at. What are we questioning?
I've never questioned anything. You, the person,
What did I
that's
question, Boog? What did I question? I am at a loss. What did I question?
we record this. You
Nigga, stop saying that. I'm asking you, what did I question? If I'm asking you, what did I question, that means I'm unsure about what point you're trying to make about whatever question I asked. Just please tell me what I questioned.
When I said he made this much, this was his net worth, and I'm reading it to you, the first thing you said was, "Is that true?"
The only reason why I said, is that true or what's the source, is because all I said was, hey, I read, I don't know how true it is, that she got him for 500 to $1 million. And you made it seem like that was some far-fetched shit like, oh, this nigga ain't got that much money. He only played in the league a couple years. League minimum is 200 grand or 300 grand. And I'm like, book, it could be true if you played a certain amount of years. Like all of this was on theory, my guy. So I don't understand. And this isn't even the most important part of the conversation. I don't know how we're stuck here.
It is because
it's not, Boog. It's not. I don't know how we're stuck here.
You're not listening. It's important because this is the very thing I'm talking about.
All right, you're right, Boog. I was wrong. Now tell us the very thing you're talking about, please.
What I'm talking about is how we use buzzwords and theories based on hearsay to justify a thought or a fact. Like you're telling me he played as many years he could have, and I'm saying based on your theory, that could be true. But then when I go back and I'm saying, well, now the league minimum was this. So if he, because he wasn't a top tier running back at any point in his career, so I'm like, and we went and looked, oh, he a 5th round draft pick, right? And we're going through all these numbers that say, okay, well, he wasn't a top tier player. He probably was in the middle. So even though he wasn't getting 300,000 a year, he wasn't getting $1 million a year because he wasn't in that frame. So we're just framing it so that when we make a commentary about what's going on, we're not just speaking out the side of our faces. We're not just speaking on how we think or anecdotal. We're putting fact to theory and making it make sense for the public. So going back to my theory, or what I was saying about the buzzwords and how we associate certain, like just NFL. You hear NFL, you think, oh, they made this much money. I'm reading right now. They got players that came out and quarterbacks that made $26,000 for the whole year that played in the NFL on a roster. So it's a variant of reasons and variant of numbers that you can make being in the NFL or NBA but the thought process of most people is going to be, oh, he in NFL, NBA, oh, he made at least this much. Because I did the same thing you did. I was like, oh, well, league minimum is this, so and so and so. But just 17 minutes of research, not even that long, 10 seconds of research, let me see that, oh, it's easy that you can make. They got 25 players on here that were drafted that only made $26,000 to $40,000 for the year. So, yeah, there are cases of people who went in and played in the practice squad and made $400,000 over a year. But there's a large extreme, and because the number of people in this petri dish isn't as large as the world, it's not like I'm picking for 400,000 people. I'm picking for a small group of people. So every instance, for the most part, is an anomaly. Every single person in the NFL is a 1 in 1 million person. It ain't like just going saying how many people got left-handed in Houston. You're saying how many people of this small group of people are in this way. And this is how we look at life in general. Oh, he a rapper, he got money. Or he a rapper, he a dope boy. Or she used to dance. That means she was performing. Like, it's so many things. These buzzwords or these words become buzzwords, and then we attach those buzzwords to people's likenesses and their everything, to the point where that's how we judge people in real life.
You done?
Yeah, I'm finished. I ain't gonna
So
say
what
nothing
was
else.
your point about domestic violence?
My point wasn't about domestic violence, bro.
So what was your point about?
The entire conversation was about buzzwords and
All
about
right.
how we feel. But you got caught up in this act because I used
Time
him
out,
as
time
a.
out, time out. I didn't get caught up in anything. I was trying to move past that. I simply said he could have had 500 to a million to get got for. I feel like we could have gotten past that within 10 seconds, and then you could have moved on to your buzzwords thing. And I don't know what you've been talking about the last 5 minutes outside of trying to prove the fact that you feel like I was wrong about my question.
I mean, when you go back and listen to this,
I'm not going back and listen. First off, I don't know why you keep saying that like that's something philosophical. Of
what you mean?
course, I know we recorded. I pressed record.
If we
Secondly,
recording
secondly, I refuse to get upset today,
it,
and
who
I don't understand the logic. Like if we're gonna bring up the domestic violence situation, and I get it, cool. We're gonna talk about buzzwords, and when you say domestic violence, what is the first thing you think of? But I think out of the entire situation, the fact that there was a debate about how much this man's net worth could be has zero to do with the importance of the situation and what we would bring to light about it.
to you it does.
I mean, what's more important? Bringing light to maybe trying to remedy domestic violence and how both parties can do certain things that cannot make things an issue, or how females or males who are being abused can fight abuse, or how much somebody thinks somebody makes because they played in a professional team.
Well, more importantly, one is not absent of the other. Because if I'm a $25,000 a year dude or a $50,000 a year dude, and I'm in the same position, I don't have the opportunity or the light on both ends of the spectrum that this situation has.
What do you mean?
So,
Oh,
well,
you mean if I was a regular nigga, just a regular 9 to 5 guy, and I threw my girl through the TV?
yeah.
I feel like if I was a regular 9 to 5 guy, and my girl had a camera set up in the house, and I threw her through the TV, it could make the regular local news if I submitted it, or in social media days how we are now, it could make its rounds going viral. You're correct. Only because he played for the NFL is why it got the coverage it did.
Well, I'm also saying that the connotations of what's going on, there's so many things attached just because of his quote unquote profession.
Nah, actually, it was a dude that was. So actually, what happened was there was a dude that was clout chasing who put out that report. Like it's not like people assumed she got him for some bread because he played for the NFL. Someone like put out a report, but it wasn't necessarily vetted the way it should have been. That's why I stated I don't know how true it is. This is something I've read. I'm not sure how true it is. So it's not like that came out simply because he played in the NFL. It came out because that was something that was reported.
And what I'm saying is, when Joe Blow, who lives in City Gas, gets caught virally fighting on his wife, it's not a conversation of, man, she probably got him for so and so, or he got money, or he's the entire conversation is different because we place these type of people.
Not for me. The first thing I said when I saw the video was, damn, what the fuck she do? The first thing that didn't come to my mind and say, oh, she must got him for some money because played for the NFL. No. The first thing that came to my mind was, what the fuck did she do to make that nigga that mad to want to throw her through a TV? So whether if it's the ex-NFL player or the young man who works at the local grocery store, if I see that, outside of me saying, damn, that's fucked up, I'm gonna say, what the fuck happened? What happened that will make this dude that upset to throw her through a TV? That's all I'm saying. I don't know how many people are sitting there saying, oh man, she must have got him for some bread. That's why he did that, because he playing the NFL. Them niggas got bread. I don't know if the average person is saying that.
If if we have to be honest and say, like, we have to be like, we have to be honest with the conversation because honestly,
Well, time out. Well, time out. How you know I'm not being honest with my conversation?
I'm not talking about you, bro.
What? But you're talking to me. So if we're having the conversation and you're saying we have to be honest with our conversation, you're conversing with me.
Yes, and
So that's why I'm saying like what?
Okay, can I answer
Okay,
this?
two questions. First
Okay, go.
off, who are you talking to on a daily basis that has you feeling these ways, bro? Because I
No,
feel like I know the circle of people. I don't know everyone you speak of. You speak to. I
yeah,
know a couple of people in the circle that you speak to, and I know that they're normally logical young men. So I feel like you can have a logical conversation with with these people about social issues.
yeah.
Sometimes when you come in here and you get on your soapbox, I'm not saying you're wrong for it, but I get the ideas that you're having conversations with a lot of closed minded or simple minded people, bro.
How so? Because
Because if someone is like, oh man, I bet he got a bunch of bread and she took it because he played in the NFL, like that's a closed minded.
but that's
That's a closed minded. I think it's a closed minded idea to pop in your head when you see that.
but I think now I'm talking about your and this I'm gonna refer to your comment in this answer. What I'm gonna say is, if you think that we live in an open-minded society, then where you living at, bro?
I didn't say I think we live in an open-minded society. I said I know the circle of people that you run with, and those guys that I know that you're with probably on a daily basis are open-minded thinkers.
But
That's
we're
what
not.
I said. I
But what
said,
I'm,
who are you hanging around that is this closed-minded?
but okay, do you agree with me that we live in a closed-minded society
Well, of
in the
course
United
we do.
States? So if you're talking about the people that I hang with, the people that you are familiar with that I am, are those the norm or the outliers? It's great potting right now with that silence.
I mean, I'm
I
trying
know,
to I'm
no, I
trying
know, no, bro, I
I'm
know.
trying to really answer your question opposed to telling a story around your question.
Do what you gotta do,
I
man.
think
That's
it
why we.
depends on the people you hang around. I think if you surround yourself with a certain if you surround yourself with a certain grouping of people, and that's the norm to you.
But you didn't answer my question. I said, do you think the society, I mean, you see the people that I hang around that you know, do you think that they're the norm of society or they're the
I think it's
outlier?
the circle you hang around. You can
No, no,
hang
no,
around
no.
closed minded people, and if you hang around closed minded people, then I'm doing what you do, bro. I'm really just antagonizing you. Of course, I don't think that the entirety of the communities are open minded. But I
So
think if you hang
no, but
around like minded people, then I won't have to deal with these convoluted ass situations with other people.
that's not. But what I'm saying is,
I answered your question already. I said no, but go ahead since you
okay,
didn't hear it.
I heard, but I'm saying in that being the answer, I'm saying that we can like the unity in our community is not there because our society, not just ours, but society in general, has a closed-minded view of things. We have been following society's trap or society's ways. And so when it comes time for us to unify and do things together and make things happen, the answers and the train of thought is right along with that closed mindedness. And that closed mindedness is what is separatism. That closed mindedness is like, I gotta hoard money. I gotta like some of the things that we just the daily things that we do are rooted in that closed mindedness. So what I'm saying is that now I don't think, no, I'm not saying like that's why I give a full and well-rounded answer because I know there are more people than not that are going to hear it and they're going to look at it from a perspective coming from how they feel. And what I'm saying is like I understand how you feel. I even understand not you in particular, but the person that's listening. I even understand why you may feel that way. But I'm also saying that these are the reasons why you feel that way. These are the catalysts. These are the
Who
trapping.
makes you that authority to tell somebody how they feel the way they feel, though? I'm asking. I'm not trying to be combative. I really want
Not,
to know what
it's not
makes you that authority
it's
because
not
it
a,
comes across as you're the authority of it.
It's not authority, bro. It's knowing.
So who make? What I'm saying is,
Read.
what makes your ideas about something, like I said, the authority of it, because you're telling us, essentially, you're telling us that our way of thinking is flawed, and you're telling us the correct way of thinking.
No, I'm saying that I understand why you think that way. I'm not saying it's necessarily flawed. I'm just saying I understand why you think that way. Like I understand why a black person would say, "Don't trust no white people." I can understand why you think that way. Is that an intelligent way of thinking? No. How many people do you know in your life that you've heard that from? And they really believe that. I know degreed people. I know people who have master's degrees, who believe that to be true.
So, and my question for you would be, how much of their experience with the other race are you privy to tell them that your way of thinking? It does matter that your way of thinking is flawed.
I'm not, but bro.
But because you're telling me you're not saying their way of thinking is flawed, but you're actually telling me their way of thinking is flawed.
I'm saying that I'm saying that I can understand. So you keep omitting things that I say that qualify my statement. I said I can understand why a person can feel that way.
Right, I get that part. I don't get that.
So that doesn't say that you're flawed. I say I understand.
But then you said these are degreed people who are saying this. Do you believe that their thought process is flawed?
I'm saying that.
I'm asking, do you believe personally? I don't want you to tell me what you're saying. I want to know your personal beliefs. Do you personally believe that their thought process is flawed?
My personal belief is that those people have been hurt.
I get that, and I'm not trying to corner you into an answer. I'm telling you that I'm not trying to corner you in any answer. I honestly would love to know personally if you believe that thought process is flawed or not.
Flawed is not the word I would use.
Okay, well, what's the word you would use, Book?
The word I would use is they're speaking from a space of hurt.
Okay.
So you said flawed. I didn't say flawed.
Time out. I didn't say flawed. I asked a question. I didn't say that the thought process was flawed, Boog. I asked. I did not say, and that's what I'm saying, bro. I hate it when you do this. Boog, listen to what I'm saying, my nigga. God damn. Listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say that thought process is flawed. I'm not saying the thought process is flawed. I'm asking you a personal belief. Do you personally believe it's flawed or not? No one is saying it is flawed. So if you answer and say, no, I don't believe it's flawed, and you give me the answer you give me, you said, I think it comes from a place of hurt. Bro, that's great. So at that point, why is it saying, no, you said it's flawed? No one said that the thought process was flawed. I asked you a reasonable question to learn more about your thought process and how you personally feel about it.
But bro, if we having a conversation, and you said, this is how it started. You said that I think I'm.
Hey man, talk about something else. Go to the next topic, please. Please go to the next topic.
Doing that, bro.
No, because we're never. You know what? We're never. It doesn't make for good potting if we're always at odds about certain subjects, and I get it. You feel the way you feel about things. We have disagreeing thought processes. No one is saying that one's thought process is better than the other. But I'm not here. I'm not here to prove that someone is smarter than somebody, or that someone's ideas are better, or that someone's opinion is correct or not. If I ask you a person, like, bro, if I really ask you, like, hey man, how you really feel? Do you really feel that X, Y, and Z is this? Bro, that's all it is. I'm not trying to bait you into something. I'm not trying to corner you into something or anything like that. And when I do that, all I get back is you telling me, well, you said it was flawed. Well, you said it was this. And I never said anything about someone's thought process being flawed. I genuinely wanted to know your belief. Do you believe that thought process is flawed? That's all I really wanted to know. I didn't say that someone who has that thought process, that their thought process is flawed. I didn't say that. And you know I didn't say that.
I'm saying, my question is, if I said something, I said this thing over here, and you introduce a whole new idealism to the conversation.
Book. I asked you, I'm not trying to introduce any type of idealism. No, I didn't, my nigga. I asked you personally, do you think that thought process is flawed? We talked about people who said that they grew up and they didn't trust white people. And then you told me why you felt like they felt that way. And my question for you was, do you think that thought process is flawed? And so all you had to do was answer that, and we would have moved on because
bro.
nobody on this screen said the thought process was flawed.
What I'm saying is this: if you ask me a question and I respond to the question, you can't tell me how to respond.
I never told you how to respond.
You did, bro.
I said, Boog, this is what I said. I made sure that the idea was clear, that I wasn't trying to bait you into an argument or anything, and I don't know how we got into an argument or anything like that. I simply wanted to know your personal belief on it. That's all I wanted to know.
Well, okay, so when I've answered 6 times, I'm trying.
No, after you answered it, you answered it, and then you turned around and said, "Well, you said it was flawed," and I didn't.
What I'm saying is the whole idealism that the thought process was thought. I never said anything about being. I said that I this is what I said. I said I understand why people feel that way. And you countered that by saying, "Well, what makes you the authority?" And I said, "I'm not the authority."
No, I asked you what made you the authority to say that someone's beliefs were X, Y, and Z. Because sometimes when we had these conversations, we'll talk about something like you'll tell me, well, that's flawed. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talked about the progression of the community and how we can do it. Well, you told me my thought process was flawed. Like those words came out of your mouth. It was flawed. And so that's why I made that statement asking, well, what makes you the authority of saying that something is X, Y, and Z? Now, when it came to the exact thought, now once we moved to what you said about there's some black people who don't trust white people, I assumed that we had moved on and we had progressed, and now we were on that topic. And that's when I asked you, I said, Boog, do you believe that thought process is flawed? I didn't attach that to anything before that. It was attached to that. And it wasn't saying that you said something was flawed. I just asked the question about a personal belief that you might have.
So so back to the root of everything, I think, or to the meat of it, to answer your question again, what I'm saying is that when we're talking about the way that our neighborhoods, our people, our culture is handled, and you asked me the question because you asked it repeatedly, why do I think that quote unquote my way is the right way or somebody else's way is not the right way, and what makes me able to have those conversations or to attempt to have the conversation is because when I go into it, I'm not telling somebody in particular that you're wrong or you're not right, but I am saying that if this is the process that you want to go through, and this is the process that you're trying to go through, well, those processes haven't worked before, and this is why they haven't worked. And then this when it turns into, okay, well, let's compare and contrast the idealisms that you have and the ones that I have, and see if we can make something work. But what happens sometimes, on occasion, is somebody will tell me, like with the last part, with part before last, or let's start with last part, when Thump said he gonna die on the bridge for Eminem, I could feel that, because he said, man, you know what? He literally said, like, your boy got something, but this is the way I want to go. So I can roll with that. But what happens a lot of times in our communities is like, but the part before that, when we was talking to two, he like, well, we don't have to listen to them people. Why are we worried about them people? And I'm like, well, how can we ignore them people when them people, we're paying them people every day. We're giving our funds and our energies to them people. So how can we turn around and be like, we the originators of something, or we the ones started this, or we the kings and the queens and so and da 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 da, but we're paying somebody else? Like, if people, I understand, bro. I totally understand that when you question somebody's thinking process, normally they're gonna get upset, unless they really want to. They're gonna get upset, man, self-included, everybody. But those are it's stages to everything. It's stages to everything, man.
Okay.
So if you can't get past the first stage, not you, but if a person can't get past the first stage, if like every time it's a clash, then okay, I'm gonna move on and go something else. that stain is still there. That
Okay.
clash is still there, and it's gonna come back again because it was never addressed the first time.
All right.
I
I just said okay. I'm agreeing. I just said okay.
said okay too. We're back to the meat of the conversation. Uh, yeah, man, we don't. I think that there's a lot of. I think there's just so many factors. It's so layered, and it starts with the internet, bro.
Okay, what's wrong with the internet?
Nothing wrong with the internet.
I'm
I said,
sorry. I'm sorry. Well, when it starts with the internet, what do you mean by that?
I mean that it's turned us into microwave. Like we got to have things instantly. We have to have things quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker.
So
And
what are we
so,
talking about now?
talking about all things,
All right, nah, I don't know what that means. Like, what do you mean? Give me some context.
the way that we process information.
Oh, so the way we process information and it starts with the internet. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So when we get information, there was a time when somebody told you something. Yeah, for real. You had to go look it up and see and understand it and read. Whereas now it's like I get a 2 minute blurb and I know about it now. I get a 4 minute blurb and I know about it now. I I take a online course and now I'm an expert in it. And that is how this is how our society is evolving to, in my opinion. And so it manifests itself when you see how we relate to each other, how we relate to news, how everything goes. It's all about speed. How fast can I get it? When some things have to bake, everything can't be in the microwave. Some things have to go in the oven.
Have any new reports come out about this case that
Not,
that
not,
that probably were different from when it came out?
not that I know of.
Okay.
It's kind of isolated. It's not an isolated, but it's kind of like a. It's gonna be so weird because what's gonna happen is there's gonna be a whole bunch of he say she say. He's gonna, of course, he's gonna do some type of time or some type of rehab. We don't know if he has priors. We don't know if this is the first time or this was,
I mean, they let him out on 10 grand bail, so
So obviously it was his first time. And on the backside of it, I mean, I ain't gonna say that, but it's just he's. I'm gonna leave out the words that we use to describe people because of this microwave become different. So I try to understand words as they are said or as they're meant to be used, right? I know they change from time to time, but an abuser or anybody with the ER or OR is somebody who does something over time, right? If me and you have a fight one time, I don't know if that makes me a boxer, right?
it doesn't. I don't think it does, at least.
It shouldn't, because then if that makes me a boxer, then what is Mike Tyson? What is Jordan? Are we in the same conversation? We can't be. It's not fair to the conversation. But in our society, if you do something one time, that's what you are. Oh man, he's a this. He's a murderer. He killed somebody.
Well, I think so. I think you gotta look at it at patterns. So, and I do believe with this case, she already had a restraining order on the guy. So I think there was already a couple of reports of said abuse there. Some people said they were going by how she was acting, how she was calm. It seemed like she was trying to defuse the situation and draw the attention make the attention all the way on her.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know too much about it outside of what was reported. And she was pleading for her life. She felt like if he got out, her life would be in danger. I mean, I don't know how much of that is just, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but everything, like you said, these things are layered. I do believe that people are too quick to judge, though. People that jump out the window and judge and not know the full facts of what's going on. But like that's what our media does. And I'm not making an excuse for anything, but how do you report something when the facts are still coming in? Do you wait till all the facts come in before you report it, or do you report all the facts that you know?
Let me give an example, and I'm gonna go back to your question. I'm gonna answer your question, but let me go back. Let me give you an example. When we saw Chad Boswick, R.I.P., losing a bunch of weight, there was all types of rumors about, oh man, what's wrong with him? He's looking sick. Blah 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 blah. He needed to be doing something. It was a report. It wasn't. We didn't know that he had been fighting cancer for, I think it was like 9, 12 months. Something. It was a while, right? That he had been hiding.
It was some years actually. He was fighting cancer when he filmed Black Panther.
There you go. So what I'm saying is,
but we don't know. Like you don't know. So if you don't know, and you have TMZs or even just period people who are these lipstick alley type outlets, like they don't know. They're reporting what they see.
And that's what I'm saying.
And so they're just judging by what they see.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's
it's not right. And I don't think. And I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. It seems like you're saying that that's the whole point. You shouldn't be doing that type shit, right?
Kind of. Yeah. That too. That and the conversation is that you have such a DIY and such a rush to be a reporter. They're not. They want to be journalists, but they're not journalists. Like, and everybody, quote unquote, because of the accessibility of the internet and phones and cameras. So,
can I play devil's advocate right quick?
Go ahead.
But you just did it at the beginning of the pod, though.
How so?
In a certain form.
How so?
You said I was alcoholic, and let's say if you were saying it jokingly or not, but
definitely joking. Keep going.
But let's say that there are people who listen to the pod, that don't know you're joking.
So
and one time out though, you can't, and I don't think you can have that same energy though. So you can't have that energy and say so.
No, I'm saying it because when you calling me a manhole, they don't know you joking.
And you're right. And so with that being and for the record, I'm not saying you're tripping with me. I'm not. But I'm saying for the record, you're right. When I say these things about you being a male whore, the audience might not know it's a joke. They might think, well, Boogie really is a male whore because Dub said X, Y, and Z. Or they can be like, well, Dub might really be an alcoholic because Boog said every time, camera he's drinking.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to you and everyone else, I could be drinking Coke Zero or some tea, or sometimes it is some Henny in my cup. You dig?
So that speaks to what I was talking about. The information age is we're in the information age, but you don't have to answer the question, but just the question goes to you and to the audience. How many people do you think are really informed and not informed, really informed?
All right, I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if it's a bullshit ass answer or not. I don't think it's a bullshit ass answer, but I think that answer is layered. So I think, as crazy that it took I think this is the true meat of what you were trying to say. How many in the information era? How many people are truly informed? I think it's twofold. I think that we are 100% informed and not informed at the same time. And the reason why I'm saying that is because with the internet and the information era, it's so much information out there that you can educate yourself on and that you can take in and that you can process. And if I really want to know X, Y, and Z, I can pull it up on my phone and figure it out. Shit that back in the day you would have had to go to a lecture or read an encyclopedia and wait for that shit to get printed. With that being said, it's a lot of misinformation on the web because anybody can make a page, throw some shit up there, and it can look like it's fact. So we might be informed, but the information that we're taking in, that shit could be wrong. So
remember when I said Donald Trump said some things that were super true, and remember I was like, man, some of the things Donald Trump said made way too much sense. Like when he said that fake news is one of the biggest issues in our country.
It is. I didn't disagree with you though.
Everybody was like, man,
I didn't disagree with you. I know some people who did. I didn't disagree with you though.
But it's like that's and he's a genius, bro, because he understood that I can say this and show you. I can literally show you how, man. Oh, y'all don't believe me? Now watch how I do this with me and Putin get down and throw all this fake news out and swear and swing this election based on fake news because y'all don't like the nefariousness of Donald Trump is also the genius of Donald Trump. So if you can't appreciate your enemies, then you're in a bad spot. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think you have to be able to appreciate. Like that's one of the rules. That's one of the not Confucius. What is the book? The Art of War. Like you have to know your enemy, man. You have to know your enemy. You can't just know who he is. Like, oh, that's him. You have to understand your enemy.
It's a difference between knowing and understanding your enemy and being in bed with your enemy. I think the problem is both parties was in bed with Putin. So,
I mean, I think,
bro, I don't think either side is any better, bro. When we was voting for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, bro, it was like, who you voting? Which one of Satan imps you gonna put in, bro? The one who did the dirt right in front of you, or the one who do it behind your back?
I feel like it's not that extreme, though.
I think it's that extreme.
But
I don't trust any politician. I know for a fact Biden ain't no better than Donald Trump, bro.
And this is where I had to take issue with your take. So I'm telling you now, I'm taking issue with your take, not with you, but with your take. And it's not just your take. This is a popular take to say that the Democrats and that both of them are whatever. What I'm saying is that they're like people, like I said, man, people can't even tell you the Bill of Rights, bro. They can't even tell you the 10, basically the United States 10 Commandments. That's what the Bill of Rights are. And people can't even tell you that.
What time out? We just did this. You couldn't get past 5.
I'm not, see what I'm saying? So you're trying to say, well, you can't. It's not about,
I'm just big on, and I get what you're saying, but I'm not, but that doesn't mean that someone can't have a opinion about politics, especially if they might have did a deep dive on the candidates. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Listen what I'm saying. I hear what you're saying, but you trying to micromanage the situation.
I ain't trying to micromanage it. Ain't it a saying, don't throw a stone if you live in a glass house?
But I'm not throwing a stone at people.
But we would throw the stone. If I'm throwing a stone at you and saying you can't do X, Y, and Z, and I can't even do it, I'm definitely throwing a stone at you when I live in a glass house.
What I'm saying is that if we're saying that we're knowing about politicians and we can't even say this core part of politics of our politics. It's not even politics, it's our rights. Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna talk about, well, what was the United States policy on Benghazi? What happened in China in 1972 with XY? What happened with Vietnam? What happened with Germany? And with we don't have them type of conversations. What happened in Jerusalem? What happened in Mexico? What happened with the Cuban Missile? Like, because there are so many actions, world events that happen to shape the way that we move. Like, the world is an ever-changing thing, and there's so many influences.
But can I ask a question?
Sir.
If I'm voting today, like a prime example, I'm not a citizen of Atlanta, but there's a mayor runoff. And if I'm voting for my mayor runoff today, wouldn't I kind of research current politics, what those politicians are standing for, what they're trying to push, and how that's going to affect me right now? I get that I should have knowledge of the past, but what I'm going to go to the polls and vote for is something that's directly affecting me today. And I need to know what your agenda is for today. I do need to know some of your history, voting and agendas you pushed, because that could kind of tell me what you'll do in the future. But me knowing what our policy was in Atlanta on, I don't know, some shit in 1940. It could be good for me to know, because history can repeat itself. But I also probably need to know what's currently going on now, what that law currently is now, and how the way that you might run your politics could affect my life going forward. That's all I'm saying.
Perfect example. So, okay, so Roland, what you say right there. What happens in politics is the politicians use that mind state to sway, like talking about what Joe Biden did in 1970 don't have bearing on what Joe Biden did in 2021, because in 1970 it was a different time, a different era, different information, different. There was so many different things that affected, like just like me and you, bro. It's things that I would have done at 19 that I would never do at 29, and the same for 39. Does that mean that because I did something at 19 years old, like this is what prison system is built on, bro? That's what the whole thing is. Oh, you did something back then, so obviously you're gonna do it again. So we gotta enhance it. Like that's your second strike.
I do look at patterns though, because you look at patterns and you see how someone has progressed, because then you'll see character traits.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is some pattern, like there's some things that are there's so many different things moving and working in cohesion to make things happen that you like we talked about one time about the Biden bill and Obamacare. And so you were telling me that, well, his name was on it. And I was like, well, do you think Obama came up with Obamacare, or do you think that he had a staff of people that, now do you think that in 2021 Obama wouldn't change some of the ways Obamacare was done? Yeah, he would, because he has more information. But
that's normal, because shit progresses. So
exactly.
So how you execute something progresses.
Yeah.
What's always there is your baseline. What's the word I'm looking for? What's always there, I think, is your baseline philosophy about something. So prime example. Let's say when I was 19, I would slap the shit out of somebody easily.
Okay.
And at 40, or let's say if I was at 19 and there's an issue, my first response would be to slap the shit out of somebody. Well, at 40, that's not my first response. But if you can look at my maturation between 19 to 40, you'll realize that while the physical reaction isn't still there, let's say the base principles of how he reacts and the things that he does is still there. It's just evolved into slapping someone to just suing someone. You know what I'm saying? Or it can turn into something that was his reaction used to be, out front and predictable. Now it's more calculated. But his principles are still the same. Don't disrespect me. What has evolved is the consequences of disrespecting said person.
So you're saying that you don't change, or not you, but you're saying, I'm asking you, think that people can change their philosophy over time?
Oh, I think your philosophy can also definitely change over time. But I think the person that you are, I think your basic principles and philosophies about life, I think they evolve. I think the basis of why you do things is still could be the same. I think you're molded at a certain age in your principles. Now, the evolution of you is how you handle certain things, and yes, you could change your stance on certain issues, but the basis of who you are, I think they're still there.
So do you think that the essence of Detroit Red and Malcolm X changed throughout his, like when he was Detroit Red, he was a certain type of way. When he was Malcolm X in Islam, he was a certain way.
Yep.
When he went to Mecca and came back, he was a different way.
He was a different way. All three men were different men. They were different in philosophy. They probably were different in mindset. But I also think all three men had principles that were rooted from the beginning. Like, he couldn't become Malcolm X if he wasn't Detroit Red. And some of the things that made him good at what he did as Detroit Red also made him good at what he did as Malcolm X.
But what I'm saying is, his philosophy on life as Detroit Red
Evolved. Yeah.
changed.
100%.
It didn't evolve. It changed.
Yeah. But that's what evolution is, sir. It changes.
Yes, you can. Well,
Yes.
hold on. Not to go on a tangent, but
Humans evolved from, if you go by the theory, we evolved from what, a tadpole to what we are now?
yeah,
All right, so it's a change.
I'm saying that you can evolve and you can be this. You can evolve from a predator to an apex predator.
You can.
You're still a predator. Just
It's
because you
evolution.
evolve.
Evolution is a change, sir. It's evolution. You evolved.
Okay.
Things in your environment made you evolve into what you became.
Okay, I don't want to pick straws. So what I'm saying is
you do like to pick straws, though. Don't say you don't like to pick. Don't act like you don't like to do that. You like to do that.
No,
You just did that 20 minutes ago.
Detroit Red, like I said, if you had a naked white girl,
Wasn't he a pimp? One Detroit Red a pimp?
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a question.
When we finished, you
No, but I want to ask you a question.
See, yes, but this is why I'd be like,
And you know what? I'm sorry. Like I
ahead.
never let you talk, sir. Since you wanna make it seem like I never let you talk, go ahead and talk. I'll stop. Matter of fact,
but that's not fair because you still record on your end, so you can still hear. Just because they can't hear you, just because I can hear you, you're cheating. Nobody can see this. Okay, all I'm saying is that you put a naked white woman in front of Detroit Red, in front of Malcolm X, and Malcolm X after Mecca, and you'll have three different. I'm 100% sure you'll have three different responses.
let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When you put the naked white woman in front of Detroit Red, what happens?
He would probably try to pimp her or take her.
And in the process of pimping her,
Yeah.
Detroit Red spit some shit to her, then made her go out and go get that money and bring it back to him, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you take Detroit Red, a wordsmith.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to jail. He studies the Quran. He learns about Allah. He meets the honorable. He goes out, and now he's preaching to the masses the teachings of Allah. And within that, what made Malcolm X damn near more powerful than his mentor? The fact, what was it?
He was charismatic, and he was
charismatic. He was a wordsmith. He knew how to control a crowd. He knew how to capture someone's attention, and he knew how to sway them. Those are all skills that he used as a pimp. What happened was
his philosophy changed.
Was the philosophy in evolution from one point to the next. He still used what he had into the next phase of his life.
But his philosophy changed. So
his philosophy changed. But he still had rooted in him those characteristics that were a part of his personality that made him who he is.
Watch this. He went from dealing with the white woman to saying that the white woman was the devil, to saying that it wasn't the white man that was the devil.
Because and that's that information thing again, how you can be informed and also misinformed. So at one point in time, he was informed the doctrine that he read and the teachings that he was taught through mentors was the white man was the blue-eyed, blonde-haired devil. And then once his eyes were opened even more and he noticed that this doctrine is correct, but this man who is teaching me this doctrine is a hypocrite because he's saying one thing and he's doing another thing. And this man who has blonde hair and blue eyes ain't doing as much dirt as the man who has brown skin and brown eyes that look like me. And so he had another evolution. And so now it went from what he was speaking with the nation to a wider scope once he was introduced to just Islam, period. Yeah. And he saw it was more about color. It was less about color and more about everybody coming together to go against a certain machine.
So his philosophy changed.
Of course. And we never said the philosophies didn't change. All I said was it's evolution. Some of the same things that made you who you are don't change. You use those tools that you were given from the get-go. So maybe those principles you're rooted in or those talents that you have that are rooted in you, they stay the same. You just use them as your philosophies evolve and change. So that would be me. Normally, I would slap the fuck out of you. Now, I would find a way to sue you or punish you or react and retaliate differently, more calculated.
Well, okay, but I'm saying that, yeah, okay, that's your evolution. What I'm saying is that there's a time when somebody would wrong me and I would fight them. And there's a time when somebody would wrong me and I would talk crazy to them for a week straight. Then there's a time when somebody wrong me and I'd be like, hey, why you wrong me? And I'd talk to them and I'd be like, you ain't gotta wrong me, whatever you need. But like you can, like, there is
I
Martin
feel
Luther
like that's
King.
what I just said, though. I literally feel like that's what I just said.
I think that the difference is that I feel like the way that you said it was like that the evolution keeps you on the same path. But I feel like your evolution until you could be going down this path and you can switch your whole, like, switching philosophies. To me, I'm just saying, to me, not to you, not discrediting what you said. I'm saying, to me, you have people who wanted to kill these people, and now I want to love and help these people. That's a philosophy switch. I don't have the same. I have the same tools and the same, but my thinking changed. I changed. I made it. Martin Luther King went from talking about the white man to talking about the man with the money. Like, people changed. Like, I marched and got beat and was telling people it's the white man who's doing this to you. And I totally flipped and changed and said, it ain't the white man doing it to you. It's the man with money, whether he be white, whether he be black, whether he be Indian, whether he be whatever. It's the man with the money or the person with the power that's doing it to you. These are philosophical changes that happen in people. And I think that we are taught, I think I talked about it before when T.I. talked about it, when he was saying, he used to say, I die for my respect. And he got to the point where he's like, man, that's the dumbest thing I ever said. Because that philosophy is dumb. Like, what is respect, man? What is that? That's just an idealism that we've been taught, and I ran with that. But in actuality, why I got too much to live for to die over somebody saying something to me, or somebody, I feel like somebody don't feel some way about me. I can't change his feelings. All I can do is change my feelings. So let me just not even live in that space. Why am I gonna get so worked up about the way he feel about me? It's a philosophy change that happens in people, and we're not taught that. We're not taught to be individuals in our own unique machine. We're taught to be great cogs in this great machine.
Let's unpack that. Well, why do you say that?
Because if we were taught to be great individuals, we would feel, we would think, we would feel, we would act different. If I'm taught to be, like, if you were taught to be the greatest that is you, that's in you, there are certain paths that me too, all of us, that we wouldn't even take, because we will be focused on what we are driven to do. We be focused on that. We wouldn't be worried about the machine, the macabre. We wouldn't worry about, I gotta make these much dollars. I'm not trying to be a cog in the machine. Like, school teaches you, it indoctrinates you, like, physically, to be a part of the machine. Like, when you hear this bell, this is when you move. This is how you do this. These are the time frames you got to work in. I don't care if this is the worst time in the world for a 7-year-old to be up. And I don't care about that. This is the worst time, and it's scientifically proven. This is the worst time in the world for a 7-year-old to be up trying to do some logical thinking. We know that their minds work better at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. But we're going to have them up at 8 o'clock because it fits in our machine. We're not going to retool the machine to fit what works best. Like, that's how we work, man. And that's not how it works in other places. And that's because we're in a machine, bro. We're in a machine. Man.
So you don't think that if you grew up going to traditional school, that you also can't have the idea of being the best version of yourself and striving to be that?
What I'm saying is that if you grew up in traditional school, you can want to be the best version of yourself, and you can have that want and that need and that desire. But I'm saying that growing up in traditional school, they are trying, they are literally trying to indoctrinate you into believing what they want you to believe.
Do you think that you can? Do you think that you can see that for what it is? And of course, you're a child. So, being a child, you're gonna follow said traditional schooling, and once you become a certain age, and you may see things through a different lens, that you can't work on being the best version of yourself. I'm asking, do you think you can do that?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is once I've indoctrinated you into a way of thinking and put you in a lifestyle or made I've really pushed you into a way of thinking and living, like it's like if I put a claw on you when you were a baby and put that claw on you and you become accustomed to living with this claw and now you're buying accessories for this claw. Now you have something like you have a whole lifestyle built behind this claw. So now I get old enough to realize, man, I ain't gotta wear this claw. But I have all these things attached. I have all these. My lifestyle is built around this claw. So now I have to it's not easy. I have to reevaluate and retrain myself at 30, at 40.
So, at what age were you when you realized this, and what are some of the steps you took to break away from that mindset?
At what age did I realize that everything wasn't what they tell us it is? I think maybe earlier than most because, or not most, earlier than most people I grew up around because I had foreign parents. And so I had seen and heard other ways of thinking.
So, what did you do to change that? So, what did you do to break away from that mentality? And what are some of the things that you were able to implement once you figured out
I
that
got, I got,
being, huh?
got in trouble. I got yelled at. I got called an honorary. I got called a problem child because if
But what were some of the things that you did though? Like what were some of the things that you did to break that mindset and to go on the path that you went on?
what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that how much control does a 9-year old have over his life, really?
Oh, see, that's why it was important. That's why I asked, what age were you at when you realized that? Because my thing was, at what age did you realize that, and what are some of the things that you could do to break away from that mindset and that thinking? So,
But it's not that easy because it's not as simple as saying I'm gonna break away from this mindset. Like, how many years was it before you knew about all the atrocities, all the brainwashing of white people in America? How many years did it take you to how many years did you open up a book when you were in school and seen a white person in pictures of Egypt?
I think by the time, by the time I got to high school is when it clicked more than it did before. I've always had like militant men around me and good role models who've always made sure I knew about the truths of Black history and things like that, and what Egypt looked like. I will admit that at a certain age, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't my top priority. I had other shit going on. I cared about being a teenager. I cared about playing sports, females, my agenda, tennis shoes, shit like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I didn't care. I think once I got in high school, I cared more because I really started, like I had my U.S. history class and I'm doing papers now and I'm sitting down and I'm being more of an analytical thinker. And the fact that I've always had these things at home reinforced, I'm like, this sounds like some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then when I realized in college, like, yo, y'all got a real African American studies class that's full of white people. Why do I need an African American study class when Black people are a huge part of American history? Yet when I read books that I was taught in school, it doesn't have that information there. So
Yeah.
for me, it was becoming a grown up for more or less, as far as being an adult and being more awoken to said social issues. And then once I started operating, I guess in corporate America, what you can say, or just in a workforce, just having eye opening moments with the glass ceiling, as some people say, or just how we were treated as African Americans. First time, it was a shock, and sitting down with mentors of mine that looked like me and dealt with some of the same roadblocks that I had started dealing with, and just being more aware of heritage, of history, of the real, and deprogramming myself, and starting to take more pride in who I am and what I look like, and truly forming my identity. Like that's when it was apparent to me, and I was an adult. And some of that is because, like you said, the propaganda and the programming, we're taught one way, to think one way in school. And it seems like sometimes once we as a community see that and we start dealing with it, teaching our own kids, they want to switch it up. Then they want to teach critical race theory. And then they want to try to make it seem like we're wrong for remembering what happened in the past and shit like that. And it's just more programming. Like, that shit was crazy when we worked for the Y, bro, and I had teen classes, and I knew what Black History Month looked like when I was in elementary, because I went to a predominantly black school, and the school that I was working in the middle school, and what Black History looked like. And I had a room full of African American kids, and I asked one simple question. I was like, "Who is Marcus Garvey?" And at the time, I knew about Marcus Garvey. I know who he was. I know some of the things that he tried to do. And probably to this day at 40, I probably don't know everything that he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But I had a idea about it. And I said, "Hey, who's Marcus Garvey?" Nobody knew. Except for one kid. One kid knew. And so then I said, well, damn. Who know about Malcolm X? And I'm estimating here. Let's say if it was 20 kids in the class, probably 4 raised their hand, bro. And I was like, well, damn. Well, you ask who MLK is. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows of MLK.
Yeah.
Because it's a street called MLK in every city you hit.
Yeah.
But then,
they don't know why.
well, what did he do? Why you know him? Well, it was about 6 to raise their hand. Yeah, I heard about a speech. You dig? So that shit was crazy to me, bro. But everybody in that class could tell you about Christopher Columbus.
But that's top. I understand how messed up that is, but now I'm thinking how topical that is. I'm like, that's just topical. How many times do you think to yourself, we have millionaires, like we have every single year on TV, we are flashed pictures of millionaires. Like, oh, these 25 young people, these 45 young people are going to be millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? They show them wearing jewelry, flashy clothes. What you gonna buy your mom? If you have, like, just think about, you got all these millionaires, but then you go to them millionaires, their hometowns, and what they talk about, man, it's poverty here, man, it's been poverty here the whole time. We've had all these people come out of here. This person went to the NFL, that person went to the NFL, this person went to the NBA, that person, but their towns are impoverished. So are we going to say that that's not our duty to make sure that doesn't change? Or are we being indoctrinated to not feel like there's so many different minimalist things that happen that we look at and like, dang, that's crazy how they brainwashing us and we don't even notice it. We don't even see it.
I got a question.
What's that?
How much of poverty is a mindset?
That's what we're talking about, bro. The mindset of poverty is indoctrinated into you.
But I'm talking about said individual. So
no, it's not the individual.
No. Seriously. And I'm only asking a question. I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. I'm asking a question. This is just for conversation. So, let's say if I'm that star athlete or I'm that star rapper, I got, let's say I'm Drake. No, you know what? Fuck it. Let's say I'm Ye. I got $9.9 billion in the bank.
Yeah.
And I do my philanthropy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I go to my hometown and I drop bags. I don't know. Let's say I drop $6 million a year.
Okay.
In an area that that I came from
Okay.
to end poverty. How much of that poverty, or the people that are in that poverty, how much of that is the mindset of just those people, like people who don't want any more than what they have, who don't choose to seek out to better themselves. Some of them only want a handout that comes around ever so often, and they're totally fine with where they're at. How much of it is a mindset?
Well, this is the thing. What you're saying is that if said person comes through and represents and puts money into the hood, well, how many rappers can you name out of Chicago?
Well, I can't because I don't. I mean, I can name rappers out of Chicago, but
Yeah.
and I don't think just that's the point.
No, but I'm just asking.
But
I'm
like
saying
I can, but Kanye, Vic Mensa, the nigga, what's the nigga that wear threes on his hat? What's the nigga name?
Chance.
Chance the Rapper, Chief Keef.
Yeah. Common.
Yep, Common.
GFC.
Who?
Consequence.
I thought Consequence were from New York. He was
Oh,
from
yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah.
He's from Brooklyn.
Right.
But I get it though. I get what you're saying. So what you're saying, it's a lot of these rappers you're saying that came out of there. So and then you got people like D Wade or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you're saying it's enough money that came out of there that
yeah.
Well, but how do you know they're not doing it though? Like I sit here and watch Vic Mensa have sleep outs to raise money for homeless.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, and I know Kanye does philanthropy there. You know Chance the Rapper does philanthropy there. D Wade does philanthropy there. Like these people do philanthropy there. But how much of it is the people who want the help, take the help, pull themselves up out of their poverty? But there are some people who choose not to do any better than what they're doing. Like how do you change that?
I don't disagree with you, but I disagree. The whole idealism that you can pull yourself out of poverty by working hard is a false. That's a false. That's a false. That's a false. That's a false.
Well, I didn't mean by that, but I mean they get the help, and with the help, they see they want to do better, and they change the narrative. So let me ask the question. Let me ask a real question.
That whole like I'm not just not to say what you're saying. I'm just saying like this is the story or the idealism that we've been taught that if you work hard and you can pull yourself out of the situation. But that's not even true or fair because it's not true. Like you can work hard as you want to, but if I live in a war zone, bro, then how I can work hard every day, but it's bullets flying, so I can get shot and killed before I even get to the chance to get. Or there's my mom is on drugs, or like it's so many other factors involved. So what I'm saying is you have all this wealth, and instead of this wealth saying, you know what, y'all, let's move over here with this thing that is hurting y'all, this thing about money that's bothering y'all, we can move over here and money ain't an issue, man. Everything free, man. I got enough. I got enough money. If you put D Wade, Kevin Garnett, Kanye, Common, and you name whatever rapper and put them together, bro, they got enough money to live 12, 15 lifetimes, man. So you think that
they have enough money to make let's say they have enough money to make a drug-free, gun-free zone living situation that can house 400 people. I'm just throwing it out there. They can make that in Chicago. Let's say they can do that, right?
No, I'm saying, why am I in Chicago still?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Just hear me out.
That's what I'm saying. That's that. Why do I have to be in Chicago? What would make me stay in this area that, like I'm saying, that's why it's a mindset. Why do I gotta stay in a place that never been good to me before? Why I want to improve this place that I don't own this? Why I want to stay here? The mindset of me wanting to be here is deeper than just the individual. It's the overall collective, the way that we are taught to think about things. Like, oh,
well, let me ask you a question. Let's say if they take their money and build this community in Ohio.
Okay.
And then say, hey, guys, I built this community in Ohio away from the bullshit that's going on in Chicago.
Yeah.
What happens if the people that move there take the same mentality there?
Well, how would I do that?
You can take your mentality, because I'm a firm believer that some portions of poverty is a mindset. So But hold on, but let me finish. I'll let you finish. Let me finish because, and this is why you don't have to move from Chicago to Ohio. If I'm changing the mindset, I can go clean up a community, make it drug free, gun free zone, and do my part to change said mentality, or to try to change the mentality. But I can give each household 10 bands as a start, and I'm not saying that that's anything. I'm really just throwing something out there. I can say, hey man, each household get 10 bands uh, every 3 months as a start to get out of poverty, and you can use 10 bands. That's free money to fuel whatever it is you want to do, whether if it's start a business, whether if it's re-educate yourself, all of this stuff. And then we're gonna move over here, 12 blocks away. It's a drug-free, gun-free zone.
Yeah.
The people who go there, that's a start. They can go, but if you don't change the mindset, some people can say, well, shit, I'm getting 10 bands free every 3 months. I'm finna go buy some more dope and sell that shit to make more money. You're not changing the mindset at that point. You're just refueling the bullshit.
So what I'm saying is, why am I selling dope?
You're selling dope because that's the thing for you to do. You feel like that's the way that you can make a quick dollar.
I can make money, right?
Yeah.
So if I tell you, man, money, look, your money no good here. So if you have $10 or $10,000, it don't matter. Money no good here, bro.
What you mean? When is that ever going to be a thing where your money is no good somewhere though? Because isn't that what we use to exchange for goods?
Not always.
All right, so give me some examples.
I'm give an example. If you go to a farmer's market, a true farmer's market, you can go there with goods and say, hey, I got a bushel of apples. I got this. I got that. What you got? I need this. Let's exchange stuff. And now we're good. We're going back to and if I'm saying.
And you're speaking of living in a community that fully sustains itself.
I'm saying that they have enough money to do that. What is Akon trying to do? What is Kanye trying to do?
Akon is trying to have Akon City. I was excited about that until I saw the investors in the board, but I might be tripping up.
Yeah, well, the Chinese are pretty smart, so
I saw all white people. I'm not Chinese, but go ahead.
I thought the investors were.
I was finna buy some Acorn, bro. I was finna buy it, and it was like the face behind Acorn, and it was Akon. And then it was like, click here to see our investors in our board. And when I clicked on that, bro, it was no other black people. Akon was the only person of color. It was all white people. I mean, it could be some white people from other countries that I don't know, could be a different nationality, but you get what I'm saying there. I thought that, I'm sorry, and I don't mean to cut you off. I thought that they were talking about this, it's a real life Wakanda, X, Y, and Z. And I know personally someone who was invited to Senegal to sit with Akon, and he actually invested in Acorn. Mm-hmm. And he's a man of color from Houston. I went to school with him. So I'm not saying it's bad at all. I was excited, and I thought once I clicked on the board, I was going to see like people of color, members of hip hop, maybe even, or athletes that decided to get behind this brother's idea, because I think the brother's idea is great. And I was slightly disappointed because I didn't see that. And I know we have black billionaires in hip hop, and I was like, damn, you mean to tell me ain't none of these niggas that he got money with in a music business that are billionaires, can't none of them like get behind homie and hop on the board, at least maybe one? And that was sad to me.
What I'm saying is two things. One, we are indoctrinated from youth, from our young age, to not think in those terms. One, and two, like I feel like there's a point to it to me. Like, can you name me a black city, a black owned? Can you name me somewhere you can say, man, you know what? I'm leaving the United States to be in a black country, in a black city. Can you name a place? I can't.
Leave the United States to go live in a black city?
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't.
And I'm not poking at your intelligence or saying that you need that you should. I'm just saying that I can't, and it's not because we like it's so layered on. Like, we've been taught to think that Africa was something that it's not, bro.
What you mean by that?
We have been taught like just in 2000, in I think 15 or 16 is when they started changing the books, like literally going in and saying, "Hey, these books are wrong." In the schools, say these books is crazy. Like they've been talking about changing the books, but I'm talking about across the board, across the country. It's been the last 10, 15 years when they've been changing the books, right? Because I know the books in the 2000s, the early 2000s, I know because I had kids in programs, and I looked at the same book I had.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, if I look at a book, in the book, all I see is slaves, uh, spear chunkers, all this stuff, then you don't think that sits in my brain as a 5 year old, as a 6 year old? Like it's things that we like. We know that how the brain develops, and we know the years that it's the most that you soak the most up. So it's so layered it's so layered. We can't skip over certain things. Be like, oh, that don't matter. That matters a lot,
But
bro.
I was always, and that's why I'm so big about the family element, because, bro, I was brought up that you're not learning true shit in school. You're learning what they want to teach you in school. The true learning is at home, or the true learning is away from the classroom, because you're only getting taught, like you said earlier, what they want to program you to think. I think the free thinkers, the people who have ideas about their life, or have ideas about how they want to come out and be molded, are people who educate themselves away from the classroom, outside of the classroom, because that's where the true education is being had. If anything, the only thing I learned at school was how to operate in a 9 to 5 system. You know
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm saying.
saying? Everything else that I learned was self-taught, or taught at home through 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 just family, and teaching yourself, and having you know, certain books that reflected the people you look like and what it really looked like. I never thought that Africa was full of white people. I never thought that, because I was taught differently at home opposed to
You know,
what was in those books.
I think it's crazy, man.
But I
Was
do,
super.
but I do want to say, I think you're correct, because I think there are more people that don't have that true education away from school than do have it.
I think it's crazy, man.
Well,
I watch college football, and as long as you know me, what have I said about college sports? Period. Or
you've been an advocate of going to HBCUs.
right. And so I'm looking at this transfer portal, right? And for those who don't know, they have a transfer portal now. If you want to, you can transfer, and they put you in a pool of students. You go to different school. If you don't like the school you're at, if you have an issue with the coach, whatever it is, right? I'm like, black athletes will jump from white school to white school to white school
Before they give HBCU a chance.
and have success at Oregon, at Kansas, at so and so. Like, oh, so and so's a transfer portal. He was at this PWI and he went to this PWI. And so, as I've been saying for years, I'm like, why do you go to that school? And these people will tell me, oh, the facilities are better. I'm like, man, you think Nike cares where you go? You think you think that Nike's going to say, man, our top 5 recruits are going to Jacksonville State. We're not going to send money over there to improve the facilities. Like, we see it. We literally we watch it. And that's why I'm talking about being open. And this is what woke is to me. We watch them follow LeBron James at this little bitty small school and put ESPN cameras. We watch them follow Zion Williams. We watch them follow Mikey, follow LaMelo Ball. All these, they didn't go to we watch the cameras and the money follow them. And where they decide to go, I'm going to Duke. I'm going to, like, we ostracized LeVar Ball for like wanting his kids to do what they want to do.
I didn't, but some people did. Some people called him all kind of clowns and shit, and I'm like, y'all really calling this man a clown, and y'all clowning him for doing what we say black fathers should do, which is he had a plan for his kids and he executed it.
Man, he had a vision, bro.
He had a vision, and regardless how you feel about him, nigga, all 3 of his kids are in the NBA. Now, one might be in the G League, but still, they all in the NBA. Who can say that I got on here 5 years ago and told y'all all 3 of my sons gonna play in the NBA, and then you look up, and all three of his sons are currently playing in the NBA.
It's like black people aren't allowed to be human. Like when we have our human flaws, those are what we talk about more than like Malcolm X. Yeah, he had his flaws. Martin Luther King, uh, Serena Williams' daddy, whoever you want to say, they had their flaws. And I'm sorry, women. I can name women too. You know, Sheila Jackson Lee, whatever you want to go. Barb, Shirley Chisholm, Barbara Jordan. They have their flaws, but what they did for the culture is bigger than their flaws. And we so honorary, and we so worried about. Man, I hear so much stuff, bro, and it's like I listen to people, man. Like people might say something like, again, like I always say this, people like, you just want to be right. Not talking about you, but people say you want to be right. And I just like, what kind of statement is that to make, bro? What person wants to be wrong? How are you looking at me because I say I want to be right or feeling like I want to be right? Really, to me, what they're saying is like, you think I'm wrong because you think you're right. I'm like, no, I'm like, nobody wakes up and like, man, you know what? I'm going to be wrong all day. And everything I say is going to be the wrong thing. No, you want to be right. You want to be correct in your theories and the way you move. But that's how we think. We don't think on it. We think like we just don't. People don't listen to each other. And this is not a black white thing. This is a people thing. But it hurts us because we it's not difficult to look at a black person and be like, damn, he black. So my first thought is like, man, I don't want to do no harm to that person. I want to see that person win. I don't care. I want to see them win. It's not difficult. You don't have to do any deep dive to look at somebody and say, damn, he or she, just because of their skin tone, has experienced some form of oppression that I have. We have something in common. But that's not how we think, man. We don't think like that. But I know for a fact other people, that's how they think, man. And like, oh man, shit, I'm this and he that.
I don't know if you could say. I just don't like putting blanket statements over us as a whole. I don't think that that's a true statement to say we don't think like that.
We had the first black supermarket in Houston open up last week, bro.
Oh, that's fire. What's the name of it?
I think it's called the Black Supermarket. But what I'm saying is the first one in the last 30, 40 years, probably 60 years. But what I'm saying is like, how is there a line?
Would you consider Sunrise like a supermarket?
I don't know. But I'm saying,
why not?
Because they don't have fresh produce. They don't have.
They do though. They do have fresh produce, by the way.
So I can buy lettuce at Sunrise.
Yeah.
Sunrise where?
In Third Ward. I mean, it's not like it's a mart, bro. So it's not like the size of a small supermarket or something. But I mean, would you consider it a supermarket? I can go there and buy supermarket items. I can go buy body soaps. I can go detergent. I can go get foods. What you mean?
What are you talking about? Sunrise? Where's Sunrise at?
It's over there by Shipley's and shit. By the new Shipley's out 288. Is where you remember what Guy's Meat Market used to be? Damn, this is horrible for potting. Is where Guy's Meat Market used to be.
Oh, okay. Is it black owned?
Well, yeah. I thought you would know about this.
I've never been to Sunrise.
Okay,
bro. They had a 5-day celebration about this HEB opening up in Third Ward because they said that's the only supermarket in Third Ward. Like that's the only supermarket. That was the only supermarket.
That's a lookout.
Where's the other supermarket in Third Ward?
It was some OST, bro. It was kind of it was what it was. It was either Fiesta or something, or it was like a Kroger's because they had
It was HEB on OST and Scott.
Yeah, that was the old one, and then they made a new one. There you go. Yeah. It was HEB because the HEB had a chicken shack in it, and then they made a bigger one.
They moved it to Third Ward. That's the only supermarket in Third. There's no
OST and Scott is not Third Ward, bro.
OST and Scott, no, bro. That's Cullen. Them kids go to Cullen. That's South Park.
No.
OST and Scott is that's them. The people who live over there, they don't go to Ryan, they don't go to Yates.
Nigga, that's the purgatory. That's the Yellowstone purgatory between Yellowstone and Trey.
Okay,
We're literally. I get what you're saying. Now, okay, I'll roll with that. It's the only supermarket in Third Ward, but we're literally talking about like 6 blocks.
Well, okay. So I'm saying it's perfect example. Why it's important is because you can't walk from any of if the kids and the parents live by the schools to my Turner, Blackshire, Ryan,
Gotcha.
they can't walk to any supermarket.
You're right.
They couldn't walk all the way to OST. That's not 6. That's like 9, 12 blocks. Like the people who live in the neighborhood. If I go to a Jewish community, if I go to a Hispanic community, if I go to an Asian community, if I go to a Nigerian community, if I go to a Nicaraguan community, if I go to, I can name every other community, and they can walk literally to a store and get products of people. I mean, products from people that look like them, owned by them, and we still don't have that. But what I'm saying is, how in God's name do we all give all our money to other people all the time and justify it? Just we literally, like, not to pick on you, but like when we talking about the jewelry thing, I'm like, bro, how not nothing wrong with jewelry, but I'm saying, like, when these guys get these big old, I'm like, y'all not kings though, man. Kings were kings because they not
But
you.
why? No. But how can you tell somebody that you can't tell them they're not a king, bro?
Because what kings have being a king is a title of someone who takes care of the land and has responsibility over so and so and so and so.
So how you know they don't have that?
So what I'm saying is, so now you're saying, how do I know?
I'm just asking how do you know someone doesn't? How do you know it? All right, that's not the right question to ask.
Okay.
What? I'm sorry, I don't know.
You can't answer. You can't. There's no answer.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm first off, I wasn't giving you an answer. I was asking you a question, and then I just realized I didn't want to go down that hole.
All I'm saying is this. I'm saying that if like I can't talk about poverty for 30 minutes for 17 tracks, and then walking around poverty with more money on my neck than anybody around me. I'm literally on my videos, I'm in an impoverished area where my neck is worth more than the building behind me. My car is worth more than probably 4 or 5 houses. And I just come in here and I do this and I leave and I go live somewhere else. Or if I do live there, I'm living in a shack. Like the mindset.
So what do you say about the rest in peace young dogs of the world who made their money and came back and gave back, and not only did they give back, but they also had ownership, practice ownership, practice giving back to the community, practice helping the community have ownership of their community. What do you say about those kind of characters?
I say that young Dolph, the beginning of his story and the continuation of his story was that he was a perpetuant of a certain lifestyle. He was like he was for us, but it's like, it's one thing to tell me that I'm giving you money and I'm doing this, but it's another thing to be like, I'm also telling you that don't worry about your brother, man. Take care of you and yours, and that's it. Like you sent, and that happens a lot with some of these artists.
But that's just one aspect of it. What about the Killer Mikes of the world? What about the T.I.s of the world? What about the Kanye's of the world? What about the Rick Rosses of the world? All of these guys who are practicing ownership, who are practicing uplifting the community, who are giving back, who are making better choices, who are making better situations for their community. What about that?
What you're asking me, or what I feel like asking me is like, well, talk about the good guys, but ignore, like, how many Rick Rosses are there compared to Pooh Shiesty?
I won't say ignore, but I will say that I think we have to give just as much energy to those people who are doing the work to make the difference, that we are giving the energy to those who we feel like are a hindrance. So I don't think it's fair for us to only talk, and I'm not saying we do this, so I'm not saying you. I'm saying just people in general when it happens. I don't think that it's fair that every time somebody shoots somebody on the corner that we plaster it on the news, but we're not plastering said organization that's doing positive acts to change that community. And actually, there are more positive acts going on than the negative. Like if we're gonna bring light, and I'm a big proponent of energy too. And I think some of that shit is, if you always give the negative energy, that's what you're gonna get back negative. That's what you're gonna see negative. But if you look at the negative and the positive, because nothing is ever one way, it's always two sides to everything. If I look at the positive just as much as I look at the negative, I can help add more to that positive narrative, and I can add change.
Okay, how many off the top of your head, how many punk rockers have you heard getting gunned down in the street?
How many punk rockers have I heard getting gunned down in the street?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about punk rockers. I haven't seen it plastered on the news, if that's what you're asking me.
All right.
But I also think that it's not the same elements, because it's not. You have to understand, and I understand what you're saying, but I think. Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, but I think you also have to look at the background of what punk rock might be rooted in, and what hip hop might be rooted in. So like, you may get a punk rocker who goes to a bar and have a drunken fight once a week, but
and go home.
But that lifestyle or that bullshit, it ain't wrapped up in this bullshit shit that's going on in the streets that hip hop can be based off of, which is the bullshit narrative and negativity that gets pushed in the music, bro. A lot of this shit is some bullshit, bro. Like they're pushing and preaching that. So I'm involved in that, and sometimes I'm a casualty of it.
So what I'm saying, okay.
No, is that a true statement though? Like it's different lifestyles.
Okay.
Like you're not gonna hear about me or you. You're not gonna hear about me or you getting blackmailed by a cross-dressing man, because we don't operate in that lifestyle. Now, you might hear about us being blackmailed by.
That's not true.
Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm gonna tell you something.
All right, go ahead, man. Just say what you're saying, bro.
I got quote unquote blackmailed by a cross-dressing guy one time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm serious. It's like he was.
I know you're serious, Boog. I really do know you're serious, bro.
He was like, "Oh man, yeah, Boogie be over here doing XYZ."
I can't.
What you mean I can't? But like,
I was trying to make a point, bro, and I get that you've been blackmailed by a cross-dresser before, bro.
But your point is,
you're right. My point is bullshit, bro. Go ahead.
I didn't say that. I'm saying like, so you saying that when we do music, it's wrapped up in truth, but when they do music, it's just pretend. What are you trying to say?
That's not what I said, sir. I said that
like they do music, they have whole genres of music where they put on axes and put on spikes and nobody dies. They bite off bat heads and do all this satanic stuff and nobody dies. But for some reason, we do music that's supposed to be allegory and metaphors and all this.
Well, what is the content of it? You got guys who gang rap. They rap about being in the gang activity, being involved in it, and then they go out here and they're living this gang life. And a part of the gang life is the shootouts, is the killing, is the going to jail. That's part of that gang life, street life. That's part of that. Now, the punk rocker who is a devil worshiper, the only thing he's pushing is worshiping Lucifer. He might not be saying, I'm out here shooting people in the name of Lucifer, my nigga. I just pray to Lucifer. I bite bat heads off, and I participate in vampirism, where they roll around with fake fangs and they pretend to bite people in the neck and then they drink blood. That's what they're doing, bro. That's the lifestyle that they live in. It just so happens that there's no gun violence involved in that some of the time.
And my only point in bringing that up was to say that if we're talking about music, man, if we're talking about making music, that's what we're talking about.
But you but
We're talking about.
but what I'm saying is sometimes these rappers they're trying to imitate the music they make and live the lifestyle that they say they live, but because some reason in our community, being a real nigga means selling dope, shooting niggas that look like you, opposed to being a responsible citizen. And I think that's why you hear about more of these acts happening in hip hop opposed to punk rock or whatever genre you want to compare it to. Like you're not going to get the same amount of classical musicians being gunned down than you will gangster rappers. You're just not going to, simply
I,
because of lifestyle.
well, all I'm saying is that if we're talking about music and we're saying we're musicians, at what point did I become? At what point does it stop being about music?
I don't think, but I think a lot of these guys don't look at themselves as musicians. That's the thing.
Hold on. How do I, as a forward-thinking adult, as somebody, as a human being, as a 15-year-old kid, look at this person who's making music and say, you know what, that person right there, if they come to my neighborhood, I'm going to kill them because of the music they make. Or so if that is the case, if the music that they make is that powerful, that if it's that powerful that we can't even that they need to be stopped. But
I don't think that casual listeners of music are the ones that are going out here trying to gun down a rapper. I think that these guys are participating in other activities. Like Young Dolph's rap music ain't get him killed. Other things that he may or may not have been involved in the present or the past, or just bullshit ego, is what could have got him killed, and not on his part. It could have been some other bullshit. Like, I don't think the casual listener of Benny the Butcher is the person who came and shot him in Houston. And we talked about that. So yeah, and we talked about that.
Oh yeah. So why? I don't want to just besmirch the butcher but
no, like, because I say make your point, because the point that you had when it happened, it clearly had nothing to do with music, and you said that.
Yeah. So how can I say I make music? I'm a rapper. I got this from like it's
but these guys ain't saying that, book.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like
these guys are saying, I was a trapper, I was a D-boy, I'm a gang member, I'm gonna hit you with the 9, I'm gonna give you 100 rounds. I live this life for real, nigga. This ain't rap, this me. That's what they're saying. And so I think the violence is coming. The violence is coming from, nigga, it ain't the music. I'm not getting gunned down because of my music. I'm getting gunned down because I'm saying I'm living this lifestyle that I'm rapping to you about.
So what I'm saying is that there's a reason why people not shooting at Common. There's a reason why people not shooting at Wale.
Because Common and Wale ain't rapping about a lifestyle. They live in the lifestyle they rapping about. Wale telling you that he like the small booty chicks too. Why? That's what Wale rapping about. Common is rapping about the great things he see in his community and uplifting black women. He ain't rapping about on Pyru, pow, 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 on sight when I see you. He ain't rapping about that. So he ain't getting shot at because of that.
So why would I continue to put myself in a space that would get me killed?
Because these guys ain't rappers, bro. Or they're saying they ain't rappers. They saying, I'm a gangster first, I just happen to rap, and I'm still out here in these streets and I move the way I move, X, Y, and Z, and then this is what happens. So you're and it's not a knock on you. I think you're confusing these guys with being musicians first. And then if you confuse them, or if you're saying they're musicians first, then the point that you're making is 1,000% valid. What I'm telling you is, I think your thought process is 1,000% correct and valid, but these guys ain't musicians first. These guys is is uh is gangsters first.
But well, I agree. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that
Or they think they're gangsters first, and then this is what's happening.
I can agree with that. But then I'm gonna come back and say, okay, I started off at Burger King. That's what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working at McDonald's now. I'm not going to keep talking
That's a
about
downslide. Burger King, McDonald's is a downslide.
Yeah,
You gotta say I started off Burger King with Chick-fil-A.
I started Burger King. Now I'm at Steak and Ale, right?
Steak 48. Steak and Ale don't exist no more.
Steak 48, right? Right. I'm going to keep talking about Burger King no more.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't be. They should be talking about Steak and Ale. They should be talking about Steak 48.
But they are, and
well,
so now when people,
what do you mean? You're saying they are talking about Steak 48?
They used to work at Burger King,
right?
Now they work at Steak 48,
right?
But now I'm sitting here talking about, I still be at Burger King. You know what I'm saying?
Posted up, slinging these Whoppers.
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you is, and that's my prime example of saying, I can do everything I need to do to remove myself from Burger King. And now I'm at Steak 48, so I should be talking about filet mignon and tomahawks with Macallan 18 year. But instead, I can't help but go back and talk about these double meat bacon Whataburgers, Whoppers with the Sun-Kissed slushy, and then they catching diabetes from the Sun-Kissed slushy and dying. That's all I'm saying. These guys say. And I know you got to bounce. These guys are saying, man, I came up from the mud, slinging dope, X, Y, and Z, running on the block, toting my 9. I got a 100-round drum, boom, 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 boom. And then they get to the point where they at, classical music and red wine. But these niggas go back to the hood and give back, but still push that bullshit ass in the street narrative. And now you got these young niggas who are in the streets for real, who saying, nigga, this ain't your block no more. Let me earn a stripe for the OG who been here, who ain't come up, who got hate for you, who tell me next time he see you bend the corner in your Rari, I'm gonna put 9 in him. And the young nigga want to earn a stripe, and he put it in. You blink twice if you're okay.
I'm okay. All right. I'm out, man.
All right, man. This has been another episode of 16 Shots. Hopefully next episode we can talk about something fun. We out.